guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video, and we are talking about everybody's favorite subject, Broly's active skill. No, everyone's actual favorite subject, Global Shaft. Yes, we are here to talk about the greatness of the Global Shaft. So, I mean, I have a long history of sort of like, I guess, I don't know, memeing about Global Shaft, because it's like, there's a very big, oh boy, let me choose my words carefully here. I would say there's a very big victim mentality with the global player base. I mean, that's just a fact, right? Now, at certain points, has Global been treated unfairly? Yes. But, I mean, honestly, for the most part, I would say nothing was ever really, like, I think this most recent situation that happened was actually, like, stunningly bad. Like, to the point where, like, that is a true, like, Global Shaft. Like, that is actually something that was, like, horrible, I think, for Global, just completely in general, right? The whole situation where support memories sort of did not work, or they basically didn't add the support memories into the update for Global Dokkan. It was the update that JP got for the 6-year anniversary. Global got it, but they decided to leave out the support memory function, and it just caused the support items to just completely, like, crash in the entire game. Many events were unable to be played for about a week's time, and Global barely got any sort of compensation. You know, huge issue. Definitely what I would say was a genuine Global Shaft, because it's like, for a full week, the game was, you know, barely running, and then they're just like, yeah, like, here's, you know, 10 stones. I mean, really examining the situation, to me, it seems very clear that it was one of those things where it's like, the maintenance happened, where they did everything, they realized the issue right away, and then because it was in the news, like, right away after the update, it seems like Dokkan themselves, they're kind of just like, yeah, like, you know, it's no big deal. Like, we told y'all. Like, we said we're working on it. Like, what's the big deal? Here's a couple of stones, right? That's obviously the way they looked at it. I certainly would say that even if that was the case, they gave the initial, like, sort of, like, talk about it in the news. And then a full week went by, like, before it's like, okay, finally the update is in where the fix is going to happen, right? Like, that was a long time without really talking about stuff. And then Dokkan is like, you know, they have their scheduled tweets talking about the Dokkan Now and stuff, and it just got, like, really wonky. So there's this post made by Delafour. I'm bad at pronouncing everything in the world, so forgive me there. A very nice graphic here talking about the history of Global Shaft. Actually, let me go ahead and lower the zoom a little bit for this. Alright, the history of Global Shaft. Now, a couple things about this. Man, actually, I guess I'll start with this before we really dive in. So, one thing about sort of like Global Shaft, again, is that oftentimes throughout the years, it's always been sort of like given more of a bigger, like, aura or this sense of Global being shafted than is actually the case, right? So here's a post by Harry Turney. This was, again, right at the start of the year. This goes over all of the top grossing that Dokkan got in the year 2020, right? So all the way basically from the start of the year to the end, we see all the different times JP got top grossing, all the different times that Global got top grossing, right? Now, there's a couple of very interesting things about this. If you would ask any Global player, is Global treated fairly by getting 7 stones per country oftentimes in these top grossing situations, and they'd scream, no! JP gets 30 stones. It is unfair! They make $1 billion. They could give more stones out. Like, that's, I actually would say that is true, though. They definitely could. They definitely could give out more stones just based off of how much they make, but keep in mind, it's not like Akatsuki, they're not doing, like, the butterfly stroke in, like, swimming pools full of money, right? Like, this money is split off into, like, a bajillion different, like corporations and licenses and people getting it. Like, it's not like there's, like, one guy at Akatsuki, you know, burning $100 bills, like, lighting his cigars with it. Like, it's not quite on that level, but the game does make a lot of money for sure, right? Now, Global, typically, This is ever since Blue Kaioken Goku. I've done many videos talking about that subject. I've, made allusions to potentially, like, knowing things. Anyway, since Blue Kaioken Goku, it's 7 stones per country, right? Now, here's the thing. Again, you would ask any global player, global gets completely shafted, it's unfair, JP gets 30 stones per. But at the end of the year, in 2020, JP got 370, global got 382. So global actually got more top grossing stones. Now, there's even more sort of like arguments and points you can make, like, oh, well, global hit top grossing more often and stuff like that. But then it's like, but JP made more money, right? Like, there's always the argument that JP hitting top grossing is more significant, more impressive than global, because JP's gacha market is more competitive. JP is making more money. That's more impressive. Maybe that's one reason they give out 30 stones. What's crazy is I've seen a lot of people arguing that, despite the fact that they're like, it's public record. Like these statistics are publicly available. It's not hearsay. It's fact. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like it's actually true. JP Dokkan makes more money. Like, that's just actually a fact. So when JP Dokkan iOS hits top grossing, they get 30 stones. Then if Android also hits it, they get 100. Interesting that the 100 stones only happened once in 2020. So far, obviously, we've had it happen once in 2021 as well for the anniversary. I don't know that this is necessarily a bad sign, because, like, I've also seen people, I think, sort of misrepresenting, like, acting like Dokkan was making more money years ago. I do not believe that's the case. I know for a fact, at the time, the 5-year anniversary was the most successful period in Dokkan history. And then I believe that was the same case as well for Global, for the 5th year anniversary. We haven't gotten numbers back. I mean, the quarter is not over yet, but we haven't gotten the numbers back yet for whatchamacallit, like how much Dokkan made during the 6-year anniversary, but I would presume it was within the top 3 most profitable celebrations of all time for Dokkan, right? So Dokkan is not exactly dying. Like, it's so funny. People always, oh, Dokkan is dying. No. No, sorry. Like, JP Dokkan was top grossing the entire month of February. Like top 5 top grossing the entire month of February. It was sickening, right? So this is exactly what I mean by, many times when I've said global, gets treated better than JP or better than people realize, would be something like this. If you just ask any global player, is global treated fairly top grossing, they will in a heartbeat say no. But in fact, global gets more stones from top grossing than JP does. So it's very, very difficult to make the assertion that top grossing would factor into global being shafted, right? That's a very important thing to talk about. Okay, so now let's head back over here and let's take a look at this graphic. Now I love this. Definitely huge shout outs to DeLaffer right here, because this is what I've been talking about. I do think the support item thing that just happened for a week was a legitimate, again, so many of these global shaft situations have always been overblown. But the situation that just happened was definitely not. I would almost argue it was worse than many people, like, sort of made it out to be, right? Like not that it was like, oh, global players are overreacting. I do think it legitimately was that bad, for real. Like, and I do think global, I think 50 stones, I still think, would have been a very fine number in terms of compensation. I do. So this, I've talked about how bad that was. I do think that was probably the second worst global shaft of all time, behind this right here. So, Gacha games did not have to reveal summon rates during this time, which meant Akatsuki would tour around with rates with each banner. Yeah, this is true. A user by the name of Laughing Man. So yeah, Laughing Man used to have a site, which I believe the way it worked is, like him, I know Renzi also did this as well. Renzi, of course, is the guy that built DBZ space for both Dokkan and Legends. And basically, they would just have, like, so many re-rolled accounts that would then just do summons on the banners, and then they could sort of figure out the rates. They would be doing, like, have bots do so many summons that they could, figure out what the summon rates are. So Laughing Man did this, and then, here we go. By using bots, testing banners thousands of times, see the official SSR rate for each banner. Global rates were lowered from 7% to 5% for all banners without any notice in late July while banners were still out. I don't know if this time frame is this it? Wait, let me take a look here. Oh, whoops. Okay. I know. Here's what I do know. I know that this is prior, I believe, to the 1 year anniversary. Like the reason they did this was leading up to STR Gogeta, right? So let's take a look here. So post July 26, pre July 26. Yeah, dude, look at the drop in the rates. 7.7% to 4.9. Whew. Damn. This, you want to know what a real global shaft looks like? Well, again, I'm not going to say that last week was not a real global shaft. This, to me, like, they will never beat this. Like, this was, like, malicious intent, right? They intentionally lowered the rates before Gogeta so that it would be harder to pull Gogeta. Literally, Gogeta, if you rate, like, okay, LRUI Goku, anyone with a brain will say LRUI Goku's the best unit in the game. It's literally that. Like, unfortunately, you can argue that if you want to, but he's just the best. Like, there's actually no basis to argue against it. Like what are you gonna say? UI Goku's like the best defensive unit in the game, and he's like the best offensive unit in the game as well. Like, what are you gonna say? He's got a great link set. He's on a lot of teams. I guess the only weakness of him is maybe his leader skill's not as good as some other characters, but that's it, right? But as amazing as UI Goku is, he is nothing compared to what STR Gogeta was upon his release. Literally, your account was either you had STR Gogeta or you were a bitch. That's it. You either had Gogeta or your account was worthless. Like, that's actually what it is. That was like, that had to have been the birth of re-rolling. Like, people, it's just like, okay, because like, there's literally, it doesn't matter how long your account had existed prior to that. If you didn't have Gogeta, you just weren't even playing the same game, right? Like, it's Gogeta was that strong. Like, he was that powerful. By far and away, the greatest character. Like, they're never going to top the power that Gogeta had at that time, right? It just can't be done because of how many, like, how fewer units were in the game at the time. So, global lowering the rates prior to that was definitely the worst shaft of all time. To be released. See, this one is tricky. I mean, is this a global shaft? Yeah, yes. This led to so much garbage, honestly, in my opinion. Because, like, I guess I would have to pull up banners, but, like, this led to, like, at the end of 2017, the Gogeta, oh, beautiful, they have the global banners. These are the global banners. Notice Omega Shenron is on there, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is on there. Like, this led to, oh, here, let me get rid of this. This led to better banners for Global Dokkan. Global Dokkan got better banners because of Gogeta and Omega Shenron being released mega early. Now, they were actually released in a point where their leader skills, like, should they have done that? No. But their leader skills were actually, like, too strong because Global was still doing the 120% meta. I remember people were actually thinking that Gogeta was going to replace Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku on Global, and Omega Shenron was going to replace Physical Final Form Cooler on Global as the 120% leads. That's what people thought at first. Like, some people were saying that. That's how early on these characters were released, right, on Global. So because of that, they did not give them their leader skills, which just led to all types of shenanigans. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, following release units for Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Final Form Cooler. Leads to their respective types, which felt like a smack in the face. Leader skills were later released in November. Yeah, their leader skills were released in November along with these banners, which I remember people were upset that these banners, I believe Super Saiyan 4 Goku was on, I believe, Gogeta's banner on JP. And people were really upset that he wasn't on there. But it's like, dude, like, Omega and Gogeta were added to these banners, making them way better. Because, like, Omega and Gogeta were definitely better than those characters at the time. It's just very... that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, if you just look at it at face value, they were released without leader skills. It's so stupid. But it's like, if you had asked a player at the time, would you, like, before it actually happened, and then, like, everyone was like, oh my god, it's such a shaft. Do you want them to release Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on Global right now without leader skills or in the future? I guarantee you, most people if they were asked that before the characters came out, they would have said, yeah, we want the characters at the same time. Like, that's probably what would have happened. Obviously, there's a lot of people who would have said, nah, like, just keep the same schedule. I would rather not have a half-release unit come out. But, like, I don't know. This was always, it's just, I remember it was, like, insanity, though, like, because both Global and JP were in maintenance at the time. Some Global players got in because what's funny is I remember, like, we saw like the categories were released on JP and we were looking at the category lists and stuff like that. But then on global, like we never really got to look at it. And then like the maintenance finishes and then like they didn't have leader skills. Like it was so crazy, right? Like, but I mean, in terms of a global shaft, I mean, this is just one of those things of if the games were caught up the way I've been saying they should, this is another one of those situations that would not have existed, right? Okay, so I want to read this fully before I explain the situation. So this is SDR Rose Goku Black's banner, which came, I believe this was in 2018. So obviously the banner came out on JP at the end of 2017. People frequently get this mixed up with the Kefla situation. This is where the 300 stones was. But people literally every day, I see people every day talk about Broly had the wrong art on the banner and JP got 300 stones. That's not what happened, right? The wrong art was on the banner. Everyone got 5 stones, and then players who summoned on that banner got refunded, including me. I actually got 750 stones refunded from this banner, right? Now, there was an issue then in 2018. Okay, here we go. So let's see what they said. During the release of Goku Black's banner, an error occurred on the image of the banner showing a sprite of this Goku instead of the SR Shin Shenron. After this was corrected, players received 1 stone. Let's read what the explanation is here. SR Sin Shenron was featured at the incorrect sprite. People who summoned this banner while the error was shown were not refunded stones. Only 1 Dragon Stone was given as compensation. Similar issue happened on the JP version where the Dokkan version of Super Saiyan 3 Broly was in the banner picture. Everyone who summoned while the error was active got their stones refunded, and all players got 5 stones as compensation. Many can argue that Global's issue is debatably worse, given that it's a problem regarding a completely different unit on the banner as opposed to the Dokkan/undokkan version of a unit on a banner. I would agree with that last thing. Like, yeah, this does seem to be worse to me than just like Super Saiyan 3 Broly, right? Because the thing is, like, you're still summoning and getting Super Saiyan 3 Broly, right? Like, but this is like not the same thing at all. Now, I remember when this happened, this was not like a huge deal as it was going on, because I believe there was only I think it might only have been like the French version or something like that, were the only people who were seeing this. I remember this was not like a huge, widely like seen thing. Like this wasn't the thing for every single player. Because I specifically remember, like, you know, this happened, they started talking about it in the news, then, like, we all just sort of realized afterwards. So, I don't know. I mean, do I think this is worse than Super Saiyan 3 Broly? Yes. And I guess it does suck. Like, at the very least, like, JP, all players got 5 stones for that issue, whereas all global players only got 1 stone for this issue. So, it's like, you know, you start to have a couple of situations crop up like this, and, like, it becomes clear why people would say, like, you know, Global always gets shafted. Global's a little brother. Global always has, you know, unfair treatment and stuff like that. And you have situations like this. It's obvious why that is thought of to be the case. 2020 Saiyan Day Global version. Okay. Akatsuki wanted to have a dual celebration, decided to not make it the same on both versions. On the Global side of the Saiyan Day joint celebration, Global was given the middle finger, as Global version did not receive Extreme Super Battle Road. Global version didn't get an EZA of any kind, whereas the JP version got new content and an EZA. Yes, the physical LR Gohan got an EZA from those 10 stages of Extreme Super Battle Road. Now, what's funny is 2020 Saiyan Day is mentioned here. I mean, honestly, you could argue that one was definitely way worse. But it happened in 2019 as well, where, I mean, I'm not sure if many people remember this, but there was 2 global shafts for 2019 Saiyan Day. Number 1, there was the EZA. Let me see if they probably have this. I guess the easiest way would be to pull up the Vegeta or the Trunks. Let's go to Vegeta real fast, and I could show the point I'm going to make here. The EZA for Blue Vegeta and Trunks were not released at the same time on Global and JP. Despite the fact that they were both released during Saiyan Day 2019, JP got the EZA a week early. I could not tell you why. We have no idea. For whatever reason, they're just like, yeah, Global players, you guys can sit in that corner, and you can watch JP players, you know, have fun with the EZA for a week, and then you get to play with it. It's just very, very bizarre decisions that Dokkan sometimes makes. And then that's not the only thing. let's pull up Copy Vegeta is the other unit from 20. Oh, does he not? What's here? Let's just go to Copy Vegeta through Artificial Life Form. So we'll go to you. Artificial Life Forms, and then Copy Vegeta. Right there. Okay. So then Copy Vegeta releases during Saiyan Day of 2019. But then, I mean, literally, why? No one knows. They just delayed Copy Vegeta for a good, 7 months on Global for literally, no reason. Who knows? They just were like, yeah, whatever. We're just not going to release it forever for some reason. That was very, very bizarre, right? During 2019 Saiyan Day. And then obviously 2020 Saiyan Day, yes. Not having Extreme Super Battle, see what's funny is Saiyan Day 2020 is talked about as the worst celebration ever, but it's on JP it was pretty good, because anytime Super Battle Road stages come out, I'd say the celebration is pretty goddamn good. So this to me is a Global Shaft type situation right here. This is a textbook definition of Global Shaft. Let's have a same time celebration where one version just doesn't get the good treatment, right? That's definitely a Global Shaft. Okay. 2021 Baba Shop update. Global version for literally zero reason didn't get the Baba Shop update until March 2021. Baba Shop update came out in GP in December of 2019, over an entire year later. Is this true? I think the timing is a little bit wrong in this. I believe this happened during the 5-year anniversary of the Baba Shop update. Maybe it was this. I guess apples and oranges doesn't really matter. Either December 2019 or February of 2020. It's similar time frame. But yes, it was about that length of time, right? December to February range to March. That's how long it took for Global to get the same update, was March. A huge, basically, again, if Global would have gotten it on time, it would have been maybe around July of 2020. Instead, they got it in March 2021. All right. Now, this situation right here, I am very hesitant to even discuss this as a Global Shaft. The 2021 New Year's banner LR Goku fiasco. Again, the reason I'm very hesitant to consider this a Global Shaft is because this, I believe, was properly handled. All players who summoned on the banner were refunded, and then all players got 10 stones for the issue. We directly compare a very similar, it's very similar to what happened with JP, with the Super Saiyan 3 Broly here, where, JP got 5 stones, and then all stones were refunded, whereas here Global got 10, and all stones were refunded. So, this, I just struggle to consider this a Global Shaft since Global was properly compensated for it, right? Problems, errors, will happen. To me, there's no way this is a Global Shaft, considering I believe Dokkan did correctly address this, right? Could they have given out more stones? Sure. Was this worse in the Super Saiyan 3 Broly issue? For sure, right? But I believe this was properly handled, so I'm very hesitant to, because, Global players in 2 years are going to remember this fondly. This is not going to be something thought of as a negative whatsoever. Whereas, to be released is a meme. It's negative. These rates, negative, right? The situation that just happened with the support items, stuff like that, thought of as a major negative, right? But this is not going to be thought of as a negative whatsoever. It's just, there's no way. Global version had a severe problem with summonable units on the New Year's step-up banner. Game advertised LRUI Goku would be summonable, but he ended up only being summonable on the last step in the last slot on the step-up banner. They accidentally had LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku basically swapped in his spot. So it was impossible to get LRUI Goku in any spot except the guaranteed LR spot. And if you managed to pull LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku in any spot, you actually should have pulled LRUI Goku. They did not reset the banner for everyone who summoned. They definitely could have done that as well, I guess. Yeah, that for sure. They refunded all stones spent, and then gave 10 stones for everyone, but left a major heartbreaker for anyone who really wanted LRUI Goku. Sure, but still, these are, the best value banners in the game, and many players got all their summons on it completely for free, with, a lot of the best units in the game on it. So, again, this is, I would say, a positive. Alright, so this monster issue right here, Global version received an update which caused the game to crash whenever a support item or of any kind was used. Caused Akatsuki to postpone the World Tournament, which means less stones for Sunday. Well, I'm going to tell you knucklehead global players that you guys should not be summoning anyway. We could say for a different kind of global shaft. JP, gets updates and stuff like that early. On JP now, there is an update where you can trade excess SSRs you pull for coins. So, honestly, I am pleading with global players to save your stones until that update comes. I'm not saying save for 6th year anniversary, any particular banner in question. All I'm pleading with global players is save your stones for after the coin update comes out, because no banners you summon on prior to that update will let you trade any excess SSRs for coins. So I'm pleading to save those coins for when you get that update on global, right? World Tournament is still postponed, by the way. It was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. Now it's, right now there's a placeholder in April. Many events in the game were actually unplayable. Took a week to fix, and that compensation was a measly 10 stones. I agree that it's measly. At the very least, I like 50 as a good number, for sure. A lot of events took forever to release or re-release. Super Android 13 story event. Alright, so it was not made available in the portal. Memories didn't return until December. Many people couldn't awaken LR Super Palm Absorb Goku because this event, was around April, didn't return in December. I would say this issue is exacerbated by the fact that these Android 13 medals are available in the Baba shop with the update that happened on JP like a month after the story event released on JP, but then on Global it didn't release for months and months and months, right? JP version had the event in the portal memories for months before Global got a rerun, yes. Dragon Ball Fusions didn't come back for over a year. Medals were never added in the Baba shop until Global's most recent update, yes. So characters like Barlot, many players could not even Dokkan Awaken them. Warriors of Universe 6 didn't release on Global for 8 months. JB got this event with the new tech hit, whereas Global didn't. There was no way to grind tech hits, super attack on Global for 8 months. Now, okay. I remember arguing this at the time. Yeah, that sucks. But you want to know what else sucked on JP many times? Was when they dropped a summonable Ultimate Gohan, and we all fed Kais into him, and then they released a farmable Ultimate Gohan a month later. Guess what? On Global, you guys knew about that, so you didn't have to use Kais. So, really, this is just an issue where it's like Global got something first, and then they just released the farmable version of the character afterwards. That's something that's happened on JP many times, right? Again, many of these issues, if Akatsuki would just listen to me, catch the games up, most of the stuff wouldn't even exist anyway. But yeah, that's happened with many characters where it's like they release some version, we waste Kai's over here on JP, and then, oh, psych, there's actually a farmable version now that you guys don't get. Now, I mean, again, I've talked at length so much about how Global First content always comes with like really huge drawbacks for Global. And I've talked about that many times, and I've gotten a lot of blowback and a lot of pushback on that, but it is true. You look at all this Global First content, all these issues, so many of these issues function around the fact that they don't stick to the schedule, right? They don't do the same schedule of order that JP got stuff for Global, and then because of that, because of incompetence or whatever it is, like they're not able to copy their own code or something like that. It just, they mess up so much. Literally, this LRUI Goku issue is because LRUI Goku was a Global First unit, right? Obviously, that has to do with the reason that these two got swapped somehow. To be released is because they wanted to push out Gogeta and Omega early, right? This is not an issue with Global First. Neither is the lowered rates, but the to be released one is as well. I mean, this obviously is too. They start like moving stuff up super early, and then they start like leaving stuff out. Like I would just really say like if the games were caught up, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. Some EZAs take 3 to 4 months. Other EZAs take 8 to 9 months. Well, this is more so a pattern, right? Because like again, for some reason, that when Hit came out on Global, they left out a bunch of events that dropped on JP with Hit, right? And then they kept all that stuff together and released it super late on Global. So it's like Tech Gold and Frieza's EZA, again, that Universe 6 story event, LR, Kale, and Khalifa all came out super, super late in December. It was just very, very bizarre, right? Um, this post is good. I agree with a lot of this. Again, I really would not consider this a global shaft, considering I would argue it was handled pretty well. Um, Again, too, I have not really touched upon the tickets which Global gets. I mean, there are certain things where Global is just unfairly treated, such as what literally happened last week. But there are always positives to playing Global, right? Regardless of how when people incorrectly state that the tickets and discounts that Global gets are only good for whales, I mean, that's just a moronic statement and not true whatsoever. Those types of things are highly valuable. If you are a smart player who uses your brain and you really take advantage of all the discounts and tickets and extra free stuff that Global gets that JP does not, you are able to get many, many, many more free summons on Global than you are on JP. So there are pros and cons to both versions. Now, I would say overall, Global is not shafted nearly as much as people think. JP is not treated nearly as holy and great as people think compared to Global. But there are legitimate Global shaft situations, such as the support nonsense. Again, 10 stones was not good enough. And then the holy grail of just unfair treatment, which was this. The lowered rates before STR Gogeta released. Again, they will never beat this. This is the true definition of Global shaft right here. Malicious intent. You know, at least with like this, the support item thing, it's just incompetence, right? Is what happened here. Whereas this is like deceptive, deceiving, malicious, right? So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on Global shaft, stuff like that. Maybe one day they will get the games caught up, but I mean, now we're 6 years in, so who knows what they'll ever do, right? Shout out to Delafor for making a very nice post, right? Shout out to Harry Turney for pooling the data for top grossing as well for Global and JP. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.